Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, the Zia symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures. Thank you. We recognize that Sandoval County is located on the ancestral land of indigenous people. We acknowledge and honor our land caretakers and commit to retain and advocate for the traditions and cultural knowledge indigenous people have practiced since time immemorial. Thank you so much for coming out today. I know there's a lot happening, a lot of social events going on. My name is Alex Pyland, and I'm the current chair of the Democratic Party of Sandoval County. We're meeting in person at Matucci's Moderno Italian Restaurant at 1908 Wellspring Avenue in Rio Rancho. Please be sure to sign in. There are donation flyers and envelopes on the tables. Matucci's has a special menu for us. Please remember that the pandemic has been rough on everyone, especially the restaurant industry. They're still feeling it. Please consider ordering to go, having dessert. Remember to tip our wait staff and recommend Matucci's during the week. We have a big event coming up in Rio Rancho next Friday. It's Juneteenth at City Center, so don't forget about that. It is the first time that the city of Rio Rancho is celebrating Juneteenth, and we need to turn out and let the people in Rio Rancho, let the Rio Rancho city government know that this is an event that we value. Let's turn out, let's be there, let's have a great time. First up, you know what I'm gonna do? I know that there's somebody very special, near and dear to my heart, who has a competing event in a few minutes. So I'm gonna let her speak right off the bat. So Kathleen Cates, she's running for HD 44. So Kathleen, you've got your 2 minutes.
Thank you, I feel so special. Thank you, Alex. I'm Kathleen M. Cates. I'm running for the House of Representatives, District 44. I need your support. So I thank you for your well wishes that I won my primary in a landslide. That's because I was unopposed. I am saying that I really need your support. This Saturday, I want to let you know that Damon Eli and his... I'm sorry? Next Saturday. Okay. On the 19th, 18th, on the 18th at 4 o'clock, Damon Eli, if you want an invite, I have a clipboard going around. Please give me your email address and let me know, say invite next to it, and then I'll know to send it to you. I want to let you know that I definitely need a lot of volunteers. My Republican opponent is an incumbent. She has a lot of money, and she has major name recognition. And one of the things that, and I did receive more votes than any of the candidate in the primary, but I will say one of the things that it showed is that Rio Rancho Democrats do not have the level of engagement as my other areas. And so I really need your help in Rio Rancho, talking to those independents, talking to your fellow Democrats, telling them that your vote does matter. I'm endorsed by Planned Parenthood, by the American Federation for Teachers, Animal Protective Rights, and I need your vote. I will be at Pride today. I'm not doing the parade right now, but I will be at a booth. If you're at the Pride functions, please come on down and see me. And I will be here for at least another hour. So if anybody has any questions or want a piece of literature, let me know. Thank you.
So that's Kathleen M. Cates from HD 44. So anybody here who lives in Corrales? She's going to be your new representative. Yes. And if you want more information about her event, or if you lose the flyer or can't find the email, you can go to our website, sandovaldemocrats.org. click on the events link. It'll take you to our calendar, and it'll give you all the information you need to attend her event. So very, very important, SandovalDemocrats.org. Did I say com? I think I said com. Org. My bad. Next up, and the person we are all here to see, we're so excited to see, is Sally Davis. Sally is the messaging chair of Blue CD2 New Mexico, an indivisible group formed in the spring of 2021 to build grassroots energy for defeating Representative, well, you know who she is. I don't even want to say her name, right? It's like saying Beetlejuice. You say it too many times, right? She's helped to create a Democrat-friendly environment so a Democrat can hold that seat for longer than 2 years, and to support down-ballot Democrats in southern and rural New Mexico. Please join me in welcoming Sally Davis from Blue CD2 New Mexico. Thank you.
Can you hear me okay? Do I need this? Yes. Okay. About a year ago, when I started chairing this messaging committee, I began looking around for guidance for messaging. And as you know, Republicans are very hierarchical, and their messaging comes from the top, and everyone follows it strictly. But Democrats are all over the place, and that's one of our difficulties. So I kept looking, and in different formats, I would see similar things and realize they were all pointing in to the same source. And I got really interested in that. In 2017, a group of prominent leaders in the Democratic Party, along with an international messaging consultant, Anat Shenker-Osorio, got organized and began field testing messages that would work against the Trump message, which is divide people, because the fear is there's more of us, working class, middle class, poor, even rich, but not billionaires. There's many more of us with many more things in common. And so if they can divide us, then they win. It's an old trick. When the Europeans wanted to conquer the Middle East, they began dividing the Sunni from the Shiites. And that's how they made those inroads. So it's an old trick, but how do you message against that? This is what they found, and they field tested this with hundreds of people for a long time. And so here we go. There's a number of partner organizations that use this messaging, and I'll mention some of them at the end. The one that teaches it so effectively is Words That Win. And I just can't say enough about their 75-minute presentation. I've done it twice, and I will go back a third time. It blew me away the first time. There was so much information, and it just moves very quickly. You won't waste your time. And they repeat it 2 or 3 times a month, so you can always catch it. After you go to this, after you attend this, they send you all the materials, the slides, the messaging statements on different issues. And they also invite you to join their Slack channel, which I did. And when you do that, you can go right and ask these people, I'm on this, framed for New Mexico a little bit, but not everybody can attend that at the same time, so this is a way to take that messaging on the road. So that's mine. Um, that 2017 project was called the Race Class Narrative Project, and they found a framework for messages that engage and motivate the base, move the people in the middle, the persuadables, and repels the opposition. There's really no answer to this messaging from Republicans. They're just caught up short by it. It resonates with all working people and neutralizes the dog whistle politics and the culture war issues. And it's not so much a dog whistle anymore. It's, you can hear. And this messaging gets repeated. So that's what they wanted, and this is what they did. So advice columnists will tell you this. You can't control what somebody else says or does. All you can control is yourself. And with this messaging, you can't control what Republicans are saying, how much money they have, how they dominate the media. You can only control what you're saying. And in this messaging, you're saying what you're for. And really, in a sense, ignoring what the thing that they will push at you that makes you want to react so much. Okay. And brain research tells you that what Democrats do so much is to, talk about policies and go into the numbers. We spent this many millions or billions of dollars, and we've done this, whatever. Doesn't change anyone's mind. That kind of data goes into people's minds, and they formulate a story with it. And they use that story, that mental story that's there, to make decisions from. So this is messaging that tells a story and really doesn't go into the stuff Democrats love to talk about, the details of the Affordable Care Act or the American Rescue Plan. Okay, so, and if a message doesn't spread, it's not a message. It's got to move from one person to another. So that's what our messaging has to do. So we want to say what we're for. If we repeat someone else's message, we're doing just that. You're getting it, you're repeating it. In this case, it's a Stephen Miller message that gets repeated over 1 million times by people retweeting it and then refuting it. It's like, don't go there. I'm so tempted by this. The other day I wanted to use a phrase back at Yvette Herald tweeting her, and I checked in with my Slack channel, and they said, don't do it. Don't talk about, white replacement theory. Don't even say those words. If you have to, use the term genocidal ideology, but don't do that. Instead, use this framework. It's more effective. So the framework is described as a sandwich. So you're thinking of the value is the sandwich top, the bread. The villain is in the middle, and the vision is at the bottom. So the two things people most remember, of course, are what you hear first and what you hear last. So those are the extremely positive things. People want nice things. They don't, and people everywhere want nice things. They want to have dinner with their family at the end of a day, have enough time for that. Security in their old age, and health care, access to health care, to be able to get outside and enjoy the outdoors, a good job, and good schools. that doesn't vary over the globe. It's just what people, human beings, want. So that's what we're returning to with this messaging, something everybody understands. So we're leading with shared values, such as most of us believe family comes first. It's something we share. That our country's strength lies in our ability to work together. Most of us believe that. Most of us want to treat other people the way we want to be treated. It's a common value. We value our freedom. Freedom's the #1 word Americans associate with their country. So you don't want to give up that word, you want to use that word. And all work has value. And all working people have rights. That's one of those messages our president's very good at conveying and very much believes. All work has value. So we're reclaiming our words. These are the 4 F's: freedom, family, fairness. People want to be treated fairly, and a future. And the words country and community. We need to use them because they communicate to people. So I just open this up. What are some values you share with your Republican friends, neighbors, or family members? What are some values you actually share with them? Anybody? There's no right answer. Family? Yeah. That family is important, yeah. Equal opportunity. Everybody should have the same opportunities. Everybody should love our country, be patriotic, yeah. So you can start there. Imagine, I always think if I am getting canvas, where do I start? You can start with what you know you have in common with that stranger and build from there. So that's what the values does. But when you, in this framework, when you say what you value, you also add the differences that people have. You actually name those differences that Republicans are trying to divide us by. So you say, no matter our gender, no matter our race or our background or our zip code, whether we're brown, black, or white, whether we're native or newcomer, whether we're Republican, Independent, or Democrat, no matter who you voted for in 2020, no matter that, we all value family. No matter what's in our wallet, whether we're rural or urban, whether we're old or young, as human beings in New Mexico, we all value. So you actually name those differences. And you put them together in a value statement, such as whatever our color, background, or zip code, we all want to be able to care for our families and have a future where we feel secure and where we thrive. It's just, is there anyone who disagrees with that? We all want that. Yeah. Anyone want to try to make a statement like that, no matter, I'll put these back, no matter, try framing it with that, beginning with this and naming a value.
How about choice?
Okay.
Right? So no matter our gender, our zip code, our ethnic background, we all want to be able to say what happens to our own bodies.
Yes. We all want to say what happens to our own bodies, no matter what gender we are. That's true. And determine when we want to start a family, not have somebody else determine that. Yeah. Okay, so there's a value statement that you can start with. Anybody else want to try one? Yeah.
All right, so no matter race, color, or creed, all of the families of New Mexico should have the freedom to access the judicial system and receive a fair trial in our
when you say it, and especially when you put that energy behind it, it's so powerful. Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's move to the meat of the sandwich, is the villain. And you're starting to tell a story. So I used to teach creative writing to elementary school students, and all you needed from first grade on is for them to have a character, say what does that character want more than anything else in the world, and why can't he get it? And that was it. For telling a story, that's all you need. And this is really a story. We know what we want. We've got a value. Why can't we get it? Here's your villain. So the reason we can't often have access to the judicial system is someone has made a choice to make that hard. People make choices, and that is why we have the problems we have. This is New York City. They have, on the left is a picture of all the buildings that have been redone and built, I don't know, in the last, I'm not sure how many years. And on the right is a building that never got rebuilt. No one has done a thing to it. People, there's plenty of money. People made choices not to renovate this building. Okay, people are making choices that create the situations we're in. When you talk about a villain, you want to signify that by using the active voice. When you go passive, well, predatory lenders are keeping our interest rates sky high. It's not you're not putting it in that choice. No, interest rates are sky high, and Yvette Hurl voted to keep them that way, which is a fact. Yeah. You don't want to generalize that villain. Brain research tells us that when you say, well, all Republicans, people turn off and go, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. So you want to narrow it in certain ways, however you can. So some lawmakers, not everyone, certain politicians in the pocket of special interests, a rich and powerful few, Trump Republicans, I like the Putin wing of the Republican Party, one I like, or a very specific politician, naming that. And Wisconsin, Ben Wickler used to move on. He moved to Wisconsin to run the Democratic Party because it's such a critical swing state. And in April, they held a bunch of maybe state, but I know school board, county, local elections across the state. And they use this framework. Their candidates use this framework, and the canvassers use this framework. It was the framework from the Democratic Party, and they won. I think it's like 60-something% of the races they won, and this is in a 50-50 state, and they outperformed in red districts their performance in 2020. And this is school board elections where they've got candidates that are, demagoguing on critical race theory and that kind of thing. They used this, but Ben Wickler said they learned a few things. Focus on the local issues, don't nationalize, and that villain should be as specific as possible. So in this case, Yvette Hurl. Raymer. There's a graphic on a vote that she took, and it's certainly a local issue. Yeah, you can name it. Yeah. So, I don't have a slide in here and didn't mention this. Let's go back. I apologize. So when you mention the villain, You also mentioned the motivation of the villain. I think it's in that first slide. So you can say certain politician, or Yvette Harrell, in order to please her oil and gas donors, or her the NRA donors that keep her in business, or Yvette Harrell or Trump Republicans, in order to stay in power. So you actually name the reason why they made that decision. And those motivations, people recognize, oh, to please these people or to stay in power. Okay. So we've done values and a villain with the motivation. And now your vision. Also, brain research, the solutions that just reduce something bad are not as effective as ones that actually create something good. People like thinking and imagining of that good, that world they want to create. So you end with the vision. With the vision, you're creating that cross-class, cross-racial coalition. Which is how you sell that agenda, by coming together across those divisions that have been created. We can have nice things. It's less about a specific policy, but what we can do when we join together. And you can add the words "no exceptions," because Republicans are so good at creating those exceptions. Everyone's except those transgender kids over there. And the vision, when you can have a call to action. So we're creating this 3 V sandwich. And you won't always use all the parts of it. Let's say you're text messaging. Well, you would text message just this vision part, because you can't get it all in a text. So, you know, this is the big picture, but you can use them as you need them. These are sentence starters for the vision. I hope I can read this. Together, we can rewrite the rules, or we have power in numbers, or we can join together. Oh, good, okay. And urge our leaders. We can, let's just go. Together, we have the power to. You can see, this is what we do together. And with a call to action at the end. Here's some examples. Together, we have the power to demand that our leaders make our schools places where every child feels safe and every child can thrive. So who can disagree? This is what we want. We want every child safe in school and feeling safe. Or we need to join together with people from all walks of life to fight for our future, so every woman has full opportunity to live a fulfilling life and be valued for her contributions to society. There's the vision you want. This is where we're at. Here's one without using that phrasing, but it's just a graphic. But it's one that 90% of Hispanic voters support, and it's a visionary action of President Biden's to restore 30% of our lands and waters by 2030 for our economy, health, and our well-being. That's a vision that people aspire to. When you're talking about the vision, it helps. Since we've got a sandwich here, let's include a brownie, something delicious and delectable. And that's what you want. Instead of talking about the policy, you want to describe it in a way that people can almost taste it, you could say. So everyone has a place to call home. What's the policy there? Huh? Affordable housing, which leaves people cold. They don't get that phrase. But everyone has a place that they can call home. And the launching graduates into the working world with the freedom to achieve their dreams. What's that policy?
It could be canceling student loan debts.
Yeah.
It could be canceling student loan debt, like what he's trying to do now.
Yeah, but if you talk about it in a way that everybody agrees with, we want people to be able to do and achieve their dreams. Or being there when a loved one needs it most. What's that policy? Yeah, paid leave. But there's one that, people can choke up on and understand why people would want it. Okay, so which is the brownie here? $15 hour minimum wage, or being paid a wage that covers expenses and leaves you with enough to buy your kids an ice cream at the end of the
Can
day?
I make a comment on that? I was placed in a position to implement that policy. I did the research. I showed the evidence that $15 an hour is a livable wage. And you want to know who was pushing back? It's just that I was a little guy, but I was doing the research and presenting it to the decision makers. I still have that report. And when I go to the planning meetings, they don't want to hear that. The developers don't want to hear that. So the developer said, and they showed by evidence, is going to increase the cost of construction of building homes, and they cannot afford. And so when they have those incentives to build those affordable homes, because of the $15 an hour wage, then it's going to drive down their bottom line. So there was a pushback, and so we folded. We folded by finding a middle ground that there will be a gradual increase. So when we say, so that $15 an hour thing to me sounds like a progressive idea. The developers are who? They are not us. They are the other side. So because they are looking at profit. But how can you find a middle ground to push back on that? So I was caught in that policy, that $15 an hour thing. Excellent research. Excellent research.
My hearing's really bad, and I may not have caught that last bit.
I said it was an excellent research.
Yes, no, it's really. Okay, which is the brownie here? Which is the brownie here? There you go. Yeah. Public option, oh, that sounds weird. And Medicare for all, not government. But being able not to go and not worry about your copay, we all get that. Here's for the environment. Your kids can breathe easily when they're outside. Or we have good paying jobs in the clean industry in the future, where we can all use the national parks or the Green New Deal. There might be more than one right answer here.
A and C.
Yeah, well, I think, and actually all A, B, and C, all are things that are kind of delectable. You can taste them. So here's some, again, providing together we can rewrite the rules, we can join together and urge our leaders. We can solve this by electing leaders. We have power in numbers to deliver. Or this last one, yes, joining together and speaking up. That could be the call to action, or contacting your elected officials or voting. So a call to action is a good thing to include with the vision. And you want to remind voters of their agency, of what they can do, that we turned out in record numbers in 2018. and we can do it in 2022. We held Trump and McConnell accountable in 2020. We can do it again. Bragging and talking about what we have accomplished, what voters have accomplished.
To me, that's the biggest one. The last one, whether you are a little guy running for school board or you're running for president, touting your successes resonates with a lot of people. That last one is a good motivator rather than choosing the path of negative acts. Say what you have done, and those people will motivate, because when the energy starts rolling, then people who were on the fence join the trend because of the successes.
Yes.
Don't be calling Trump is over.
Yes. Voters did that. Okay. I added this. This isn't in the original words that win, but what I love about Zelensky is he's unashamed to ask for more, and he gets it because he asks for more. And we can do that. This is what we want. This is our vision. Let's ask for it. Yeah. So anybody want to try? Can you articulate a vision, maybe with the brownie? These are hard to do. Maybe with a call of action. Anybody want to try?
America, we are at a crossroad today. America, we are at a crossroad today. It's just a few years back that we remember what the previous administration did to everyone. Not only did they look at immigrants as shithole countries, they closed the borders and people were living in fear. We have a current administration who truly cares for our people. Because there are no stumbling blocks and there are no controversial policies, people are happier. So let's work together to make sure they are re-elected.
You can do it with that kind of enthusiasm, it also resonates. Yeah. Okay. So winning, just a summary, winning messages. Lead with a shared value, shared values. Ascribe blame and harms with the active voice. All great stories have a villain. Naming the motivation of the villain. Talk about tangible outcomes. Can provide an aspirational vision. And talk about what we're for. Here's a 3V sandwich on immigration. People move to have a better life. Something we all understand. We've all done that. But Yvette Harrell wants to shame and blame them and create fear about foreigners, but it's because it keeps her in power. In November, we can elect, let's just say, Gabe Vasquez to create a leader who will create a common sense, fully funded immigration process that excludes criminals and includes a roadmap for people who aspire to be citizens. That is what America is all about. Now, this one also sort of pivots and turns it on her, because what has she done to create a common sense immigration system?
I have a question. How do you talk to people about national parks when they're worried about their pocketbooks? I mean, I think we need to make sure we're sending the right message and who's doing what and how we're helping people. And I don't see that happen. Every day I wonder, is our retirement going to last? We're not the only. Can we give her a or repeat the question?
My hearing, I actually, that's great, thank you.
My question is, how do we direct the message to the people? What is it that they care about instead of what we think is important? We're in a bubble here. We're not worried about, I don't think any of us here are worried about how we're going to pack school lunches or any of those things. we'll go ahead and pay the high price for gasoline because we have to. But there's a lot of people that can't. And I don't see any messages coming. I think it's a powerful thing that we could be utilizing, and I don't see us utilizing it. That's my question.
Yes. So, if I understand this, how do you craft a message that addresses the things that people are worried about, like inflation, et cetera? And I think if I were doing this just here on the spot, which I am, everyone wants affordable prices for gas. We want to be able to afford gas and the things we need for our families, and to have a little extra. But in this case, I think with gas, I think oil companies made a decision, I think, to reduce their number of refineries and have limited sort of the flow and can artificially keep the gas prices high. They've making record profits off of us.
But what are we doing about it?
How do you what?
What is being done about it?
Oh, and
Why are we not getting the message out there? Because I know, I hear from people that are Republicans, well, Biden shut down this oil place and Biden shut down, instead of anybody having any solutions, I just hear back and forth whose fault it is.
Also, what is, like you were talking about earlier, what is our response to that narrative?
what is our
Our response to that narrative that the inflation and especially the gas prices, it's because of President Biden.
So I would go back, yeah, and again, I would refer you to the women on Slack for the people who I think are the real experts. But we do all want this. We get it, and President Biden's good about saying, "I'm on this. It's my number one thing." But inflation is a worldwide problem, and there's no Republican has offered a solution to this. They're not offering any solutions. So I would pivot and say, what are you going to do about high gas prices?
Okay, I had a pushback on the forum that I belong to on this thing. I belong to a national organization, they call it the Oroco Cultural Association, and I'm their financial secretary. So they wrote there, they said, President Biden limited oil production so that has caused the price to increase. So I said, if you understand the laws of demand and supply, if there is limited supply of anything, the price goes up. Because the limited supply will cause an increase in demand. I said, that's the theory part. I said, however, yes, the pandemic came. Because of the pandemic, the government had to do something to restore the livelihood of all Americans. They put money in family hands, they put money in small businesses, and of course, it takes a while through macroeconomic theory for that money to circulate around. So inflation will come down when the law of demand demands. Nobody can hold it. It is a natural economic process. I said, what do you like? Do you want an environment that is beaten and the children will not have a sustainable future to meet it as we're enjoying it now? Do you want oil production in every national park that would destroy recreational grounds? I said, in everything there's opportunity cost. I said, so do you want a bad environment or do you want to enjoy low gas prices? I said, that is the crossroad that we are in. And they were quiet.
Someone put her in charge of messaging.
Testing.
That's awesome. I think that's awesome. You can also look to Martin Heinrich, who's so good on this and creating a vision of how we get out of the energy crisis is through the electrification, and he goes into detail with heat pumps and all the different things that, if everyone were using, would get us through the crisis. So he's very good for finding that aspiration.
Sally,
Hi.
the word I'm struggling with is greed. The greed of the oil industry, the greed of all the corporations, and how do we call them out? You know, that's the driving force. I mean, for example, as this woman was saying, the oil industry is looking at us as a prey. They know they have control over us, and they're manipulating the market price to go way up. They don't care about America. They care about their profits. To me, that's greed. And then the second is the inflation process. This is not Joe Biden's problem. You know, it's, and can we then tie, and here's what my struggle is. I always want to tie greed to the Republican Party. And the reason I say that is because invariably, it's the Democrats, when we get elected, who clean up the budgets. We reduce the debt. And so how do we get that process going in terms of talking points? Because I know, as this woman was talking about, the key issues for the 22 election is going to be greed. They're going to be blaming inflation and blaming the oil and price gases. And so that's going to be the biggest struggle, to get the pushback, I think, as Democrats, we need to do.
No,
Hi.
Again-
Wait, hold on. So sorry, but I've been, hold on. Hi, here I am. Sorry, but I've been here for a while. So this is just my attempt to say, I think that you need to start the conversation saying, I'm concerned too. I struggle too. I have children and elderly parent to take care of too. I have lived paycheck to paycheck. In my youth, I have skipped meals. I get it. But I also get that the 101 for business is diversify your revenue stream. It's 101. So if we keep dipping into the 3, oil, gas, and timber, and that's all we're doing, that's bad business, right? We need to diversify our revenue stream. Now, will it improve our environment? Do we have greed issues? We do, but she's teaching us, how do we communicate to that independent and that Republican? And I think you need to say, I get it. I hear you. I'm concerned too. And this is why I think our answer will address that problem. Now, you and I in this room know that it will address the environment problem and it will address the greed problem as well. But we have to let them know, it's logic, it's conservative business logic. Diversify your revenue stream. That's what we do, and that's what we're doing. That's what our land commissioner is doing, and that's what we have to let them know. That you don't want to be the mercy of Exxon and Shell. I don't want to be the mercy of them either. We can point at all the politicians we want, but we know business is the one that's controlling it. And I don't want everything to that one company. I want to diversify my revenue stream, and that's what I think the message needs to be.
I think we need.
and to go back.
I think we need to keep in mind that it's capitalism, uncontrolled capitalism, and the Republicans have been very successful of hanging that on the President of the United States. Shell is making more money than they can count, and it brags about it. And anybody that tries to do anything about it, oh, it's socialism.
Right. Yes. Right. Yes.
How do you stamp that out?
Okay, how do we put back in that social
And just to go back to the first point about, do we talk about greed? My sense is, and I'm not the expert, but that if you talk about, if you use the word fairness, it will will resonate more. And you can say, you know, certain companies or Exxon or whatever are taking more than their fair share. We want all our companies to profit, but when you go beyond what's fair, that's whatever. I think that might be the framing that people go, oh yeah. There's something about the word greed to me that repels me using it because I'm greedy too. You know, I don't want that label. Okay, so here's one on gun violence. Here's a 3V sandwich on gun violence. No matter where we live or what we look like, we all deserve to live in safe, thriving, and vibrant communities free of gun violence. But some politicians in the pocket of gun manufacturers and lobbyists oppose even the most basic gun safety regulations and make false claims. Why? Motivation. To perpetuate fear and division. That's one of those motivation things. They want to divide us. You can name that. Together we have the power to hold our elected leaders accountable and demand that they strengthen gun laws to protect our families and our communities from gun violence. And just one more, just so you hear the language. For many of us, home is where our heart is, but it's also one of our biggest expenses. Some politicians and lobbyists are putting up barriers to housing by allowing corporate developers to rig the rules or raise the rents or build houses that only the wealthiest few can afford. Together, we can demand our leaders increase development of affordable housing so everyone has a place to, no matter our race, background, or zip code, has a place to call home. So as you can see, it's really like learning a language. And when you learn any language, first you learn the rules, then you hear it spoken, and finally you can speak it yourself. So those are really the stages. And I go back to the Words That Win workshop and encourage you to take that when you can. These are, I mentioned there were lots of different organizations doing different parts of this. We Make the Future has lots of statements already created that you can use and adapt. This Research Collaborative is fabulous. They do, twice a month, they do movement briefings, and they focus group test different issues. They did the January 6th hearing, and they came up with the language that moved people the most on January 6th. It has to do with an attack on our country and a conspiracy. I can't remember, but they come up with language for they did transgender and discovered that the language, certain politicians want to put our children in boxes. And it was that phrase that people got, that people went, oh, they're trying to put us in boxes. So they, every 2 weeks, if you sign up, they'll let you know there's another one. They're on Wednesdays, noon Eastern time, and they're great. They last an hour. And ASO Communications is Anat Shanker Osorio, the woman who is the international messaging consultant, and she's got a great website also. And those are just some issues you could try creating a 3V sandwich statement around. That's it.
Is this on? Check, check. Thank you, Sally Davis from Blue CD2. We're so fortunate that she came all the way to Rio Rancho to present to us. Yes.
Oh, that was great, Sally. Thank you so much. Is there a way we can get the slideshow?
Can we get the slideshow? Yes. Okay, so we'll get it out either through our newsletter or our website, but we'll get it out to people. we'll make it available once we get it. Wonderful. So next up is another candidate whom I'd like to introduce you to. His name is Greg Bennett, and he's running for County Commission District 3.
Thank you, Alex. Hi, everyone. My name is Greg Bennett. I'm running for County Commissioner in District 3. I only have a few things to ask of you today. Number one, and I won't put it in a sandwich for you like our articulate woman over here said, but I'll put it out there just for you to grasp. Number one, it's very obvious when we look around and see who voted last week that only about 23% of the people voted. We need people to get out and vote. If we don't, we'll be sitting here in 2 years and 4 years doing the same thing that we're doing today, and that is, would you guys please get out and vote for me, please? We need Democrats to get off their rear ends and go out and vote. We have the numbers, and we can do that if you just get out and vote. So, voting comes up, take your friends, your family, your brothers, your sisters, your dogs, your cats, anybody that has a thumb that can actually hold a pen and vote, please, let's get them out and vote. Okay, so I'm off my soapbox for that. I do want to let you know that I do have signs now, and anybody wants to put out a sign in their front yard, please let me know. I have signs with me today, or I will drop them off at your house, just let me know. That brings me into the second thing. Would you please think about helping me canvass? If you want, you can drive me, you can walk with me, you can walk by yourself. I will give you literature, I'll give you everything that you need, but I need some help in canvassing these districts, okay? Last thing, or one of the last things, I'm having a fundraiser next weekend on Saturday from 1 to 3. I have a pamphlet here or a brochure here. I can hand it out to you and give you all the details. If you'd like, I would recommend that everybody come and visit with me. It's a chance to be a little bit more intimate. You can ask me more questions up front, what my policies are, what I think. This is just a time for you and I to interact. So please think about coming. Address, it's here. Oh, yes, we're going to get this out to the website as well. But yes.
Which Saturday?
Next Saturday, the 18th, 1 to 2.
What are the boundaries for commissioner boundaries?
For the whole district?
The district for 3 years.
Okay, you ready? Okay, so we go all the way down to about, oh my God, it just flew out of my mind. Let's start with 528, okay? 528 on the west or on the east side, but also goes into River's Edge. A little bit into 1, 2, 3, and up all the way into a little bit of Bernalillo. It follows it down, essentially 550 all the way to Unser, out to precinct 118, and then down Unser all the way down to Rockaway. There's a Starbucks right there on 528, and that kind of makes the big circle back. Okay? If you want, I can give you an actual map. But
I have a question.
yes.
Do you have to live in County Commission District 3? See, I got it right this time.
Yeah.
County Commission District 3 to help you canvass?
No. I can take anybody from anywhere. I can take you from Pluto.
Oh,
You
right.
Can, yeah.
Pluto.
So come on down.
It's not a planet anymore,
No,
but okay.
It's a rock.
It's a rock.
It's okay.
All right.
You
so
can come along.
Do
and
we
yes.
have to live in your district to donate money?
No, that's my last thing I'm going to talk about. But no.
Okay.
you
I was
don't.
worried.
No. Don't worry. You know, at your knee for the last 2 months. Give me a break, okay? So the last thing. So fundraiser next week. Please think about coming. 1 to 3. Come meet me. The last thing is I need your money. I need your donations. I have plenty of these where I can send them around to you. I just didn't get here early enough to put them on the tables. But there's a website there. You can go to Gregory Bennett for NM and .com, and you can donate. You can actually see what I'm about. It's pretty short, bullet points, so you can understand it pretty quick.
Greg, are you on active duty?
I am. In fact, that was the first thing that we did.
Greg, who's your opponent?
Michael Meeks. No matter where I go, nobody likes him. I mean, you know, I got to go out to his mom or something and go, do you like him? I'm not even sure. So anyway, I think that's it. Donate, please. Signs, money, time. Thank you very much.
So much, Greg. Wonderful job. So,
Where am I doing it? District 3, Sandoval County, County Commissioner. There you go.
right, there we go. All right, so, make sure that doesn't roll away. You guys, this race is really, really critical because right now we have 2 blue commissioners on the Sandoval County Commission. This could be our 3rd Democrat on the commission. And then we wouldn't have to be putting up with the nonsense we're putting up with right now, like the commission is actually drafting a resolution to send to the legislature and the Secretary of State about the 2020 election. So they are supporting the big lie, the Republican commissioners. Commissioners Brooke and Eichwald are in need of some help. So let's try to help them out with Greg. Yeah. Yes. All right. So next up, I just want to acknowledge that we have an elected official in the House. Thank you. Our District Attorney, Barbara Romo. Thank you for joining us. We love having you here. Former County Commissioner and Laura Montoya's campaign manager, Donnie Leonard, is in the back. Hey, thank you. Thank you so much. And last but certainly not least, one of our precious gems of Sandoval County, our DPNM and Sandoval County former chair, Marg Elliston. Thank you so much. Now, this is my favorite part where I get to spill the tea, and it actually says spill the tea. So I have, well, not I, we have a special guest today, Ted Barudin. He is one of the attorneys on the lawsuit that we filed against the county commission. And Ted's going to get to talk to us for a minute or two about the lawsuit. So without further ado, Mr. Barudin, here you go.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ted Barudin. And one of the things, I am a proud Democrat. And I always say things like, you like weekends? Thank a Democrat. You like Medicare? Thank a Democrat. So I think what this young woman was saying is that there's no reason why we should be ashamed of who we are. Because we have fought hard over the years to become Democrats. Just as an update, we have filed a lawsuit. And Greg, we hopefully will get rid of Meeks and put you in. The lawsuit is challenging the gerrymandering of the Sandoval County. Since I spoke with you last, we have an additional tribe that's joined us, and that's the Pueblo of Jemez. They have officially did a resolution of their tribal council. And secondly, we're looking, because the attorneys who represent Jemez also represent Cochiti, and we're trying to get them involved. We already have one tribe, San Felipe Pueblo, who was in. Why is that important? As you may know, District 5 is where they put all of the tribes. And they did that truly in gerrymandering fashion. But you know, it's not happening, it is happening, all over the country. There is currently a lawsuit by the Navajo Nation against San Juan County in federal court for the exact same issue. So we have filed our lawsuit. There's been an answer already filed by, looks like a father and son group, New Mexico Law, Local Governance, some name of a law firm. we had filed something called discovery, and we get to take the deposition of Jay Block. Now, I can share with you, you were my clients. I'm your attorney for Sandoval County Democratic Party. So arguably, you all can come while you watch us videotape Jay Block and watch his body language. You know the whole drill. So we get to do that. That'll probably happen. This is the middle of June almost, so I would think by September. We're going to try to get a lot of stuff done before the November election for good political reasons, trying to get as much as we can, as much damage as we can get in there. One of our plaintiffs is Laura Montoya. And Laura is going to be a wonderful source of all the information where the bodies are buried in Sandoval County, because she was the county treasurer for 4 years. 8 years. Thank you. 8 years. For those who don't know, some of our other plaintiffs are Catherine Brutch, Ken Eichwald. Ken didn't jump in, but Damon Eli. Right, which I saw he won in the primary. Damon Eli is our named plaintiff. Brenda McKenna is a named plaintiff. She's a state senator. Tweety Suazo's not here, but she's a named plaintiff. Jack Torres from Bernalillo County, town of Bernalillo, is one of our named plaintiffs.
Mayor Torres.
And Alex is one of our people up there. So we have an interesting blend. We have now gone through 7 judges. All of them have recused themselves, which means they've excused themselves. Now our current judge is a Lawrence Sanchez from Valencia County, but the reason he's in there because 13th Judicial District covers Valencia County. So I'm here today just to give you this update, and hopefully we'll have more as time goes by. So thank you, everybody. Yeah.
Thank you, Ted. Noel, and I'd like to introduce you to her for the first time. Take it away, Judge.
Not judge yet. That's why I'm here. So I just made it through the Judicial Nominating Commission yesterday. So I'm at the point where I need support going to the governor. And my name, as well as 3 others, were sent up. I just wanted to take the opportunity to introduce myself. Should I do the whole introduction? Yes? Okay. All right. I was born in Hobbs, raised in Farmington by my grandparents, and my grandparents were born in the 1920s. And they believed that a woman's place was to get married and raise a family. But my grandfather knew that I wanted more than that. So when I was a senior in high school, he asked me, well, what do you want to do? And I said, I think I want to be an attorney. And he said, you're not going to be no damn attorney. We were an oil-filled family in rural New Mexico in the 1980s. He didn't trust attorneys. So I got married. And over the next 12 years, I put myself through undergrad, and eventually I went to work for the DA's office in Farmington. Officially, I was the worthless check and pre-prosecution diversion officer, but I did everything. I opened cases, I ran NCICs, I helped out all the divisions. And when we got brand new attorneys straight out of law school, they put them with me to take them to court for the first time. And I would show them courtroom decorum, I would show them where to stand. And when the time came for them to speak, I would whisper in their ear and tell them what to say. I was standing in front of the bar, at the podium, and by proxy, talking to judges. And it made me wonder, what if? I worked there for 9.5 years. And then I got the opportunity to go to work for Metro Court as a probation officer. And there, I learned how the courts work together. I learned about treatment courts. I learned about social services and how they work with the courts. And it just fueled my love of the law. And a few years later, I disobeyed my grandfather, and I went to law school. I completed law school in 2.5 years, and on the day that I took the bar, I came out to my car to a message offering me a job at the district attorney's office in Albuquerque. I prosecuted low-level felonies in Albuquerque for a year before moving to Sandoval County to work for County for and with Barbara Romo, I prosecuted everything from DWI first to first-degree intentional homicide. A few years ago, I got the opportunity to move to the 13th Judicial Court as a staff attorney. There, I got a crash course in civil law and family law, and the first year I was there, I was the director over the domestic mediation program. In 2019, I became a special master. And as special master, I was able to hear child support hearings, hear domestic violence petitions, and for 2 years, I presided over drug court in both Sandoval County and Cibola County. Those experiences allowed me to see that I am comfortable on the bench. When I'm there, I feel like I'm making a connection with the people in front of me. I feel like I'm making a difference. Sandoval County has been my home since 2008. I've raised my children here. I own a home. It's my community. I have a vested interest in Sandoval County District Court being the best that it can be. I know that I can fulfill the duties of judge, but I can not only do that, but do it well, do it right. I can be the type of judge that Sandoval County can be proud to have on the bench. I like to think that if my grandfather was still alive, he would be incredibly proud of the damn attorney that I've become. And if given the opportunity, I think I'd be a damn good judge too. So I'm asking for all of your support. Thank you.
One of the things that I felt was really special about you is all the children that you have fostered. And this is an organization of people that give back to the community, and you certainly have through fostering children.
So
I wanted to give you credit.
let me repeat what she's saying. So I was a foster parent for several years. I've had his, hers, ours, and everybody else's. And I've done that for years. Currently, I have my last one. She is 8 years old. We are now her permanent guardians. We will have her forever, and we're done. But over the years, I have an Army veteran. I have one that's still in the Navy. I have an artist. My oldest daughter is in law school at the current time. I spent my time raising really good people. And because of that, you're not going to see on my resume that I've been on a lot of boards. I haven't been on any boards. I haven't served on the school board. I haven't done all those things. That's because I was sitting at cheer and dance practice. I didn't have time. However, I would really appreciate all of your support. Thank you so much. Sonia Duke Noel.
So how do we, feedback. So how do we support you?
Can I clarify the process?
May I? Yeah, go ahead.
So Sonia just was approved by the Judicial Nominating Commission for a brand new position, a brand new judgeship that was created by the legislature for Sandoval, I guess it's for Sandoval County. It's in the 13th Judicial District. And a bunch of people interviewed yesterday. Judy and I had the privilege of being on that commission. We picked 4 names to send to the governor. The governor will interview all 4 of those folk, and the governor will decide who will be the judge for that new position. The position is created as of July 1st, so we're hoping that it gets filled right away. So that's for now, and the choice is really now up to the governor. But the judge, it's also you also need to vote on that position. So whoever gets selected, well, anyway, it's a really complicated process then. But the State Central Committee members for the 13th Judicial District need to vote on, select the candidate to put on the ballot for November. So it's sort of a 2-track process. One's with the governor, and one's with all of us that are on the State Central Committee in the 13th Judicial District. So who else besides me and Judy are on it here? Alex is, I know.
State Central?
So really the next vote will be up to the State Central Committee, and then whoever they select will be on the ballot in November, and we'll all vote for that person, right? Yeah. So we still have a few steps to go through. And timing is sort of interesting on that, but yeah.
Great. Thank you so much for clarifying that. Thank you, Sonia, for coming out to meet us. We appreciate that. Next up, Karen Schaefer wanted to talk to you guys, and then I still have some more tea to spill. I know. It's exciting.
Hi, I'm Karen Schaefer, and I'm speaking to you as a member of the communications team. We have been to a million meetings when people stand up and say, we really need volunteers. And once in a while, somebody will raise their hand and say, I'll help. Well, I'm here to say we need 2 specific volunteers, one to help us with MailChimp and one to help us with the calendar. They're both simple jobs, and they can be done from your home, and we would really like to sign up people to do that today. So if you would even consider it, let me know. I would really appreciate having your help. Thank you.
Okay, MailChimp and calendar volunteers looking. All right, so last bit of tea to spill. The Democratic Party of Sandoval County is incredibly loved and supported. And we have been raising money to pay for an office, which I told you about last week. Bye, thanks for coming. See you guys. Bye, see you next time. Right on. So anyway, we have been saving money so we could get an office, and that is in our sights and going to happen any day now. Literally, probably within the week. We have also been raising money to help pay for the expenses of the lawsuit that Ted was just telling you about. So there are envelopes on the table, and we would greatly appreciate anything you might be able to help us out with. Anything and everything helps, so we'll be happy to take that. Because of reporting to the Secretary of State, every penny that we receive, we have to report it to the Secretary of State, and we need information that's on the envelopes that's on your table. So we appreciate, again, anything for that. But here's the tea part. Are you ready? We were donated a car recently. And I know. That was it was like, Alex, do you guys want a car? And I went, up, yeah. So let me tell you the specs on the car. It's a well-loved car, okay? And it has been a sun worshiper. And she has been a sun worshiper, so maybe needs some paint. She needs her windshield repaired. And she is a manual transmission, which is good for gasoline, right? All right, and so let me tell you, she's a 2009, kind of silver-ish, I think, Toyota Corolla, and she has 173,000 miles, and she has 4 doors, manual transmission, like I said, but, so she's a little long in the tooth, but so am I, There's still a lot of life left in both of us, okay? And did I tell you, it comes with a full tank of gas. I mean, today, right? That's a lot. So if you would like to see it, or if you know someone who would like to purchase it, it's good gas mileage, might just want something. A 2009 Toyota Corolla 4-door silver-ish. 173,000, but it's a Toyota Corolla. It's gonna go for forever. 500,000 miles you could get out of this car, easy. Needs a windshield, okay, and a hubcap. Did I say that? Needs one hubcap, I think. But it's it's all manual, like the windows, you roll them down. Who remembers that? It's vintage, right? That's what people like. It's a vintage car. So if you're interested, please call me, email me, let me know. We'll make sure to make it so that you can see it and hopefully buy it. The blue book is right around $37.50 on this beauty, and I would love to get that. So, but No reasonable offer will be refused. I don't know. I have no idea. Yeah, I have no idea. Doug Clark takes care of all of that for us. He's a stickler. If you guys know Doug, he is. Yeah. So that was the last bit of tea I have. Please visit our website's event section for more information regarding all events. Don't forget the fundraiser for Kathleen Cates next weekend and the one for Greg Bennett. Greg Bennett. God, I said you were a house just messing up. God, I know. I'm so sorry. Greg Bennett's fundraiser next weekend. Sign up for our newsletter at our website, or if you haven't signed in yet on our sign-in sheet today, sign in and we'll make sure to get you on the newsletter email. Like us on social media, share our posts on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and thank you so much for coming out. Oh, Donnie, yes. I'm so sorry I didn't see you.
Hello, everyone. Laura Montoya couldn't be here today, so I would like to say a few words on her behalf. And she sure needs no one to speak for her, as you know. She's capable of that herself. First of all, thank you all for supporting Laura. It's sure been a team effort. At last count, she had 59% to 41%. She won 25 of the 33 counties, at least, and I may be short a county or two, but that's kind of where she landed. She's worked hard, as you all know, and you all worked hard also, so thank you for that. It'll be, next 6 months will be interesting, and moving forward, her opponent is a credible opponent and well known in the northern New Mexico. So we need to not let up a bit. Like everyone, she's going to need money. Like everyone, she's going to need a word of mouth, everybody that can help her with any emails to your friends, anywhere. So that being said, touching base on Greg here, as Alex said, we really need to get Greg elected. So as the county manager used to tell me whenever I was a county commissioner, as long as I can count to 3, you know, we got a chance. And that's the problem right now, is you can't count to 3. So needless to say, the majority is controlling everything. And Donna and I first got involved in the early 90s in Sandoval County. She worked there 21 years. I was a commissioner for 8 years. From the early 90s through 2010, Sandoval County didn't have these problems. We had a good working commission. We were a healthy county, got a lot of things done. And the last 8 years has been a mess. And you all know all about it. You know what they've tried to do, what they have done in some cases. And we have an opportunity with Greg to change that. And I think he's the right person. He's willing to work at it, and that's what it takes. So help for Greg, help for Laura, help for the Democratic candidates that we've got on the ballot. Thank you.
Thank you, Donnie. Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's it. That's all we have planned for today. So thank you so much for turning out. Make sure to look at our event calendar and have a great Pride weekend.